Morning, everybody, and I'll open the meeting at 9 o'clock, and thank you for your attendance. If I could have someone to confirm the minutes of the ordinary meeting on the 27th of May 2025. Councillor Brumpton.
I recommend that the minutes of the ordinary meeting held on the 27th of May 2025 be confirmed.
Seconder, Councillor Davis. All those in favour? Oh, yep. Sorry. I was just going to say I've got two councillors online too. Sorry, Councillor Burkett and Councillor Hancock. So all those in favour of the minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
9-0. Okay, 8.1, Yulbar Community Project Water Play. Do I have a mover? Councillor Vincent.
I move that Council repeal resolution number OM04.2025/02 and replace with that Council 1 endorse the final design of the Yulbar Water Play based on option 1 with the following modifications: removal of internal rocks within the original rock outline, removal of pebble treatment and inclusion of a painted blue concrete surface and representation of local lagoon flora and fauna, and relocation of the pump room to the rear of the project. 2, approve the reallocation of surplus funds of $300,000 from the Wallumbilla Multipurpose Building Construction Project to the Yulbar Community Projects Main Street. 3, provide an update to the community on the project via pre-construction commencement media release.
Have a seconder? Councillor Seawright. Would you like to speak, Councillor?
No, thank you. It's just a simple change to the painted surface of the water play park.
Yeah. Anyone else like to speak? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
Yes.
9-0. 13.1, sponsorship request Roma Ignites event. Do I have a mover?
Just got a question.
You have a question? Morning, Georgie. Councillor Vincent has a question when you're ready.
I just wanted to ask how much we'd already given to Ironbark this financial year in sponsorship.
Through Mayor, Councillor Vincent, Council hasn't given anything in this past 24-25 budget to Ironbark Raceway. We gave some cash to the Speedway Club, which you might be thinking of, but in this financial year, no sponsorship to Ironbark Raceway and no in-kind assistance.
Councillor Davis.
Thank you. I've got another question to follow on that one. In the last 2 to 3 years, have we supported the club in any other ways, Georgie?
Through Mayor, Councillor Davis, so Council partnered with the Ironbark Raceway for Australia Day last year. So we assisted with event preparation and paying for entertainers and everything like that. We also just did some in-kind assistance for mowing, just for ground preparation for that event. Council did assist with track preparations and fixing that track. I might just hand it to Cam to...
Yeah, so through the chair, just before Easter, council did a fair bit of asphalt repairs on just close to the finish line there. So it was in the order of about $130,000 of asphalt repairs. At the time, the group had come to council and it looked like the Easter in the Country event might not have gone ahead if council hadn't helped that. So, but over the last if you could just put a 5-year window on it, we have resealed the return strip. It was in pretty poor state. This is council property, but yeah, we resealed that. If we didn't do that, we would have lost that return strip. So it was really a preventative reseal, and as part of the asphalt works, while the machinery was there, we resealed the braking area as well. So just again, that area was in really poor condition, and it would have been a very expensive repair if we hadn't have sealed it. So I would have thought, probably 250 maybe across the 5 years without having to pull the exact figures, but just on the strip there, the infrastructure works anyway.
So just to confirm, it's on council, is it a council facility and we have a MOU, or is it a standalone?
From what I understand, in terms of, I don't know the answer to the MOU, sorry, but I'm just checking now really quickly, but I'm pretty sure it's a council lot sort of there, so.
Councillor Brompton?
Through you, Mayor. Georgie, just what I don't understand is why the Ironbark Raceway wouldn't just waive the fees for this organisation. So what would be the cost to Ironbark Raceway for those 3 days? They're not doing insurance because the new one, they're a volunteer committee. I just don't understand why council's being asked to pay fees to an organisation that I don't know whether there's any cost to them if they waive the fees. Would there be a cost to the organisation for
Through you, Mayor, Councillor Bumpton. I suppose initially the request came from Nathan, the event organiser, to put funds towards the event itself, and he said that Ironbark Raceway were charging just over $6,000 for venue hire. Ironbark Raceway is simply just the venue hire, that's all they're providing, and then doing the bar. So they're going to make money through venue and the bar and food. I suppose my recommendation was just putting with council pay the Ironbark Raceway to ensure that, say for instance, the event didn't happen because of wet weather or whatever else, that we know at least the local organisation has received the funds rather than an event organiser from the coast. So if we then had to chase them and say, your event didn't happen because it was rained out, we'd like to receive that sponsorship money back, or however, regardless, if we paid then the Ironbark Raceway and they wrote to council and said, the event didn't happen, but we are hosting something in September, for instance, we'll put the money towards that instead.
So that's what my concern is. If the event doesn't happen, there's still no cost being incurred by Ironbark Raceway. They'll miss the takings from the bar, but I couldn't see that there would be a cost to them if it didn't happen.
I suppose there would probably be some track preparation for the club, and some organisation and to get the track ready and the grounds ready. So I'm sure the club is incurring some sort of costs and volunteer works to get that sorted for this event organiser.
Okay.
Anybody else got questions? Have I got a mover?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I'll move that council provide sponsorship of $2,500 towards the Rome Ignites event to be held from the 27th to 29th of June at Ironbark Raceway, with the funds to be paid directly to the South West Drag Racing Association to assist with venue hire costs, and the funds be drawn from GL 2887 2249 2001, the sponsorship budget.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Vincent?
I'm happy to second.
Councillor Vincent, thank you. Councillor Burke. Councillor Flynn, would you like to speak?
I'd just like to mention the fact that I think this is a good promotion for the local drag racing club, and while there might be some questions with regard to the provision of some sponsorship for it, I think it's a way that if the event doesn't make any money, that the Drag Racing Association are not out of pocket.
Anyone like to speak against? Councillor Davis.
I think it's great that this event is coming to town, and the event is happening regardless of council's 2,500 sponsorship. It's actually in 2 weeks. It doesn't really. It's. I would be happier to do 2,000 as per our policy, because why do we have a policy if we're not going to follow the guidelines in it?
You could move an amendment.
Good.
Would you consider moving an amendment?
No, you've got to move.
You've
the
got to move
amendment.
it first. You've got to move that amendment that it'd be 2,000.
Instead of 2,500.
Even though we've got a mover and a seconder and I'm speaking against?
You can move.
Okay.
You can move an amendment at any time.
I move an amendment that, in line with the sponsorship policy, the amount is reduced to 2,000.
to have a seconder?
You check with the mover if they
Oh,
accept that,
would you accept that, councillor Flynn?
No, I don't accept that.
and then seek a seconder for
Do we have a seconder?
I'll second it for the
Councillor
sake of
O'Neill?
debate.
So we're going to go to the vote on the amendment?
You go to now it's a debate on the
Oh,
amendment.
sorry.
So the speaker for the amendment.
Would you
Yep, I just feel like that it's in line with our policy. It is a good opportunity to really be consistent with our sponsorship that we do provide the community, and there is a lot of sponsorship that council does. So this is just being transparent, open and honest. It's there in black and white what we see this event as and what the amount of sponsorship is.
Anyone like to speak against? Anyone else like to speak for the amendment? Councillor O'Neill?
I'll speak for the amendment. I'm happy to support the amendment because it's been articulated that it would fall in line with the policy. I think there's probably a place here where all councillors could be very happy if it was in line with the policy, and so therefore I was happy to support the amendment.
Okay, so we're going to go to the vote on the amendment.
If there's another speaker,
Oh, anyone else
Yeah.
like to speak for? Against? Anyone like to speak? No, got it covered. Oh, councillor Hancock, did you want to speak?
Yes, please.
When you-
Yes, I'd like to. I'm happy to support the amendment. Once again, very happy to support the event and the sponsorship of the event for $2,000, which is in line with our policy. And so, yeah, I'm fully supportive of the amendment put forward.
Okay, anyone else like to speak on the amendment? Right, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
Against?
Yes.
7-2. So the amendment becomes the motion.
Yeah.
Would you like to speak to the motion, councillor?
No.
Would anyone like to speak? All right, let's go to the vote.
No, I'd like to speak
I'll speak against, yep.
the
Yep.
amendment now. I just believe that it's penny pinching to take $500 off the organisation on the grounds of policy. I think the organisation is trying to do an excellent job. I think there's going to be an outstanding success, and I just think that council should be supporting it more than what we are.
Anyone else like to speak?
I'll
Councillor
sum up.
I would like to.
Oh, sorry.
Councillor Hancock?
Sorry, it's hard.
You're right.
Yeah, I'd just like to speak in favour of the resolution. I think this is a fantastic opportunity to have a new event come to our town. I'd like to acknowledge the economic development that event will bring to our town, and not only that, enjoyment for our local community. So I am fully in favour of bringing events to towns. I'm fully supportive of this, and I just am voting that we are in line with our policy for $2,000 to just try and get us back to being able to have enough money to be able to support our many events across the community in a fair and equitable way.
Okay, anyone else like to speak? Councillor Davis, would you like to sum up?
I will.
Just for
Oh, sorry.
procedurally, sorry, Councillor Berg, just procedurally, the amendment became the motion, but the motion original mover and seconder are still the mover and seconder of the motion. So Councillor Davis can't sum up
Okay.
Oh, okay.
because she wasn't the original mover of the substantive motion.
Right.
Yeah.
Councillor Burkett, would you like to speak?
Yeah, I'll speak against the amendment. I take on board Councillor Hancock's comments, and that's one of the reasons why I'll be supporting going against the motion, because all those things that Councillor Hancock spoke about is bringing economic development and support to the community in the region is one reason why that extra $500 isn't a big issue to me. I know it might affect us down the track, but we can amend those budget areas at Q1 or Q2, whatever. But I think that $500 for the sake of that will go a long way to help this event take off and promote our region in a positive way. So I'll be voting against the amendment.
Councillor, can I just ask a question first? Georgie, the South West Drag Racing Association, they're going to charge them $6,600 to come and do the event. So they're not waiving any fees.
No, so they'll charge the event organiser that $6,600 for the 3-day venue hire. Yep, and we'll pay a portion of that then.
Yeah, so they're not waiving anything to make it more attractive for them to come.
No, that's right.
Okay, thank you. Councillor O'Neill.
Sorry, I don't believe that's right. If you
Sorry?
read, the applicant is seeking for X amount of dollars in sponsorship from council to contribute towards the venue hire.
Yes, I know, but but the
So
drag,
the money that we give them will come off the $6,000.
Correct.
yes, that's
Yeah.
right, but they're still being charged $6,600 by the drag club. Our $2,000 or $2,500 will go off the six, so the drag club aren't sponsoring anything here.
I believe that from what I see there, the drag club will only be charging them $4,100.
Yes, but they will get $6,600
Yeah.
because we will be giving $2,000. So I'm just saying the drag club itself are not sponsoring the event. Sorry, Councillor O'Neill.
I'd like to speak in favour of the motion. The amendment's been done.
Oh, yes,
So
okay.
there's no more debate about the amendment. The motion is the motion.
Yes,
I was ambivalent as whether it was 2,000, 2,500. I seconded the amendment because I think it's important that we have a debate in this chamber around policies that we are having broader conversations about. I support this investment. I think this is good that we are backing local community groups to bring events to this town. So my comments are now in favour of having the event. I think we should have the event, and I think council should support the event in line with our policy, and I wish them all the success and look forward to hearing that our community backs it when it happens in a few weeks' time.
okay. Anybody else like to speak? Councillor Vincent.
I'll speak as the seconder of the first motion and now the new motion. I'm a bit like Councillor O'Neill. I was happy to support the two and a half. I did have the same concerns as Mayor Taylor in regards to the support that was given by the drags by charging such a high venue hire. So I'm more happy to support this event. It's great economic development. It's great for the community to have this event come to town, something different for the races themselves, our local races as well. So I'm more than happy to support the event.
Thank you. Anybody else like to speak? So Councillor Flynn gets to sum up, if you would like.
I'd just like to say I think that we're penny pinching for the $500 and that we could find that $500 in a budget that we're going to hand down in the next couple of weeks for a multi-million dollars. So I just can't understand why we would quibble over $500.
Okay, so on that note, we'll all go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
Against?
Yes.
7-2. Thank you. Thank you, Georgie. Yeah. 13.2, adoption of sculptures outback concept design.
Wendy, would you mind just to adjourn the meeting just for a second?
Yeah, I'll adjourn the meeting at 9:19, the meeting at 9:20, and I'll call 13.2 again, adoption of sculptures outback concept design. Do I have a mover? Councillor O'Neill.
I'm happy to move, but I've got an alternative resolution to what's there. And it would read, I'll move that Council 1 give in principle support to the concept design for the sculptures outback side on lot plan as it reads. So that would be lot plan 210 WV1624. 2, a further report be provided via a briefing to develop a priority project investment plan that will complement the concept plan. 3, approve access to lot plan 210WV1624 to the Sculptures Outback Committee for the purpose of an art exhibition on the conditions that all transport and main roads approvals are obtained where applicable.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Vincent? Would you like to speak, councillor?
Yeah, thanks very much, Mayor. This is exciting. It's exciting because the event's coming up this weekend, and it has just been an utter roaring success. The concept put forward to council all those years ago and the passion of the community that have backed it in and continue to support it to this day is why it has become a signature event on our annual calendar for locals, but for visitors as well. And I think it has done what it intended to do, which is to increase the aesthetics, the attractiveness as you come into Roma. And it gives another reason for tourists to stop and enjoy what we have both here in Roma, but more broadly across the Maranoa, and how wonderful it has been to see some of those sculptures start to spread out across the region as well. This resolution today, as it reads, gives in principle support to the design, but I think it's really important. There's a lot in this concept design. There's a lot of investment that can go into this particular area, and I think it's important that we put a little bit of rigour around what would be the priorities in a short, medium and long term to ensure we are putting our energy into the things that not only will benefit the Sculptures Outback, but more broadly that area of town. We've got the investment happening across the highway, which is a long time in the making. We've obviously got things to finish in and around the big rig, but I think it's important that we know as a council what those priorities are, and I think that needs to come back via council so we can do the due diligence on that. But this resolution does give the in principle support to the concept design that we've had input in, the Sculptures Outback Committee and their members have had input in, and brings together that broader vision of this parcel of land that is our entrance to Roma. And so I ask council to support this so that we can come up with a priority investment plan, and we can work hard to see if we can invest our ratepayers' money, but leverage that with support of from grants from state and Commonwealth and anyone else that wants to partner with council to bring this concept plan to fruition.
Anyone like to speak against? Anyone else like to speak? Councillor Brompton.
Thanks, Councillor O'Neill, for the slight changes to this. I do want to acknowledge that the committee has given their top 5 priorities, but I do understand that we need to integrate that into what council's plans are for around that area. And as a new councillor this term, I haven't yet seen the full big rig DA proposal, and it's really important for me to understand what the next stages for the big rig were and what was planned there and how that can integrate in. And so I think it's a sensible approach for us to have a reasoned look at this and make sure it fits into what council already is committed to for the big rig and what their plans were, and how we can make sure that any decisions we make can be worked in together, and that we have a good plan for the future.
Anyone else like to speak?
Can I just ask a question? There is some concern with regard to the positioning in our big rig proposal, and this has nothing to do with the Outback design concept, with regard to a possible rerouting of the current railway track. Is that a furphy, or is that happening?
You would have to ask the officers.
There is no current plan to change that track at all, and nor has it ever been suggested that we would.
No, that's fine, but there is concern in the community from one of our major organisations that may be happening.
Okay. Anybody else like to speak?
Yes, Miss Mayor.
Yeah, when you're ready, councillor.
Sorry, I meant to say Madam Mayor, not Mrs. Mayor.
Say what you
Yeah,
like.
I'm supportive. I'm supportive of this motion. I think it does still gives the clarity that we're fully supportive, but it makes sure we get our ducks in a row. It's nothing worse if we went through and we had to backtrack. I think there is a lot of moving parts, like's been mentioned, with the new development across the road and the finishing off of the big rig projects and any other future plans. So I think this is the right way to go. And but I'm definitely supportive of the sculptures of the Outback. So look forward to see it moving forward.
Thank you, councillor. Anyone else like to speak? Would you like to sum up, councillor?
Everything's been said. Thank you.
Okay, let's go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
Yes.
9-0. Thank you. Thanks. 13.3, Surat Water Allocation Update number 5. How are you, Matt?
Morning all. Morning Mayor. Morning all.
Do I have a mover? Councillor Davis.
Happy to move.
I'll let councillor Hancock.
Yep. Yes, councillor Hancock.
No, it's okay. Councillor Davis can go. It doesn't bother me, Madam Mayor. You choose.
Okay. Councillor Davis.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I move that council one. I move that council. I'll start again. That council. One, receive and note the report. 2, council offers to monitor water consumption levels at a regular basis and provide updates to the community. 3, council officers provide an update on the Surat Water summer schedule at the ordinary meeting on 14th of August 2025.
Have a seconder?
Yes.
Yes.
Councillor Hancock?
Just confirming that we just went that one council receive and note the report to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
exactly as was. Yeah, perfect.
Oh, good. Would you like to speak, councillor?
No, thank you. Just to say, sorry, I will speak. Thank you to the staff for keeping us bringing this back monthly, close eye on the water consumption in Surat, and thank you to the residents. It seems that they are using water wisely and looking to come in on, or if not under, maybe, our water allocation this year.
Very good. Anyone else like to speak? Would you like to speak, councillor Hancock?
Yes, thank you. I too just want to really thank our staff for really putting their focus on this and working really hard alongside our community to be able to come in under our allocation this year or very close to. It's a great step forward for our community. It shows that there is some things that we can do to help our allocation. And we started this process later on in the year, whereas I think this has been a learning for us and that we can actually move forward with a better plan at the beginning of the year to make it not so tight at the end of the year. So, yeah, I just want to congratulate our staff and our community on being water wise. Thanks so very much.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak?
I just find it
yes.
difficult to believe that we were going to be under the allocation, given we've only got 14 megalitres to use in the month of June.
Councillor Burkett?
Yeah, I'm fully supportive of this, and I'd like to congratulate Director Matt and his staff for thinking outside the square on occasions and putting protocols in place and keeping a good eye on them. And I think it is a learning curve, but yeah, one thing with the water, their allocation, it's good water that doesn't need to be used as much because it'll go a long way. So yeah, happy to support this.
Thank you. Councillor Brumpton?
To Councillor Flynn's concerns, we have had an update from Director Matt via email that only 2 megalitres was used for the first week of June. So the committee have really listened, I think, to the concerns. So we have got, if they continue on that trajectory, we should stay within our allocation as long as there's not a sudden change in usage, and with the colder weather, hopefully people will slow down with the usage.
Can't turn the tap on before 8 o'clock anyway because it's frozen.
Yeah.
All good. So anyone else like to speak? Would you like to sum up, councillor?
Oh, no, I think it's all been said. Thank you.
All right, let's go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
Yes.
9-0.
Thanks, Council.
Thank you, Matt. 13.4 Wallumbilla Multipurpose Facility name. Councillor Seawright.
I wish to declare an conflict of interest on item 13.4. Description is Wallumbilla Multi-Purpose Building Facility name. The declaring councillor is myself, Councillor Brendan Seawright. Persons of interest is myself. I am the president of the Wallumbilla Town Improvement Group, who submitted suggested names for the multi-purpose building and is also mentioned in the report. It's a prescribed conflict of interest, and I will leave the room while the matter is discussed and voted on.
Thank you. Councillor Seawright is leaving the room. Do I have a mover? Councillor O'Neill.
Got an alternate resolution that I'd like to move. I'll move that Council 1 notes the feedback received from community groups and considers options of community input outlined in the report. And 2, undertake a community survey/vote by way of a addressed mail per household to Wallumbilla and surrounds residents.
Just a sec.
Sorry, Phil. Undertake a community survey/vote by way of an addressed mail per household to Wallumbilla and surrounds residents. With 2 options. 1, the wheat shed. And 2, Wallumbilla Community Hub. You could have them A and B, Kel, if you want. And then 3, council consider these results to finalise the naming of this new community facility.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Brompton. Would you like to speak, Councillor?
Thanks very much, Mayor. I moved the original resolution, which was to write to the Wallumbilla Heritage Society, Calico Cottage and the Wallumbilla Town Improvement Group. We have received feedback from those 3 organisations. It has narrowed down to 2 suggestions, which is the Wallumbilla Community Hub and the wheat shed. I think it's important now that we go out to the entire Wallumbilla and surrounds community and give them the option to have a say on this and that we back in whatever the community of Wallumbilla and surrounds want to call this new facility. And I think this would be the best way to do that.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else like to speak? Councillor Vincent.
Yes, I'd like to support this change to the recommendation or the motion. The vote is very close with what's come back. There's a little bit of conflicting things in the report to what we're hearing out in the community. So, yeah, I'm more happy for a more direct approach to the a vote for this.
Anyone
Make sure
else
we get
like
it
to
right.
speak?
Madam Mayor, just a
Yeah.
question there from staff there. Obviously, we'll certainly, the motion goes through, we'll certainly circulate that mail out draft before it goes out, just for council approval anyway. Just in terms of timing, how long would you like it out for? Do you think, are we talking sort of, keep it up, once it's mailed out, we keep it open for 2 weeks or 4?
Do you want that in the resolution?
No, not the resolution, just probably a bit of guidance for us to get straight on to
Well,
it.
just because we want to get this facility open so the community can use it as quickly as we can, I think a
2 weeks.
2 weeks from the day we anticipated reaching houses.
Correct, yep.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, councillors, yeah. Because I know we've got some tight time frames around the opening, so I just
Yeah.
thought I'd just want to make sure that we're on the same page, yep.
Councillor Hancock, sorry, did you want to speak? No? Okay.
Or was it Councillor Burke? Someone.
Sorry, was it Councillor Burkett? Sorry.
I think it was Joe.
It was me.
No, it
I
wasn't
forgot
me.
to unmute. Sorry, I'm ready now.
When you're ready.
Thank you. I'll support this resolution because I think that it is the level we need to go to make sure that we're actually hearing from the Wallumbilla community as a whole. But I do want to acknowledge that we have had some great feedback from some organisations from Wallumbilla, and we have heard them, and I don't want them to think that we are not taking on board their recommendations and their thoughts. It's actually made us reconsider to think that we actually should go out for further consultation, because this is so important to get right. This is the Wallumbill's community infrastructure, and we want to actually make sure we get the name of it right so that they can relate to it and be proud of it. And so, that correspondence that we've had from those external community groups in Wallumbilla has been valuable to us for us to be able to get to the decision today to actually go out and actually ask the whole community. And I want them to know that they are valued, and to thank them for that feedback, because it showed us that this was such a priority for the whole community, that we should do a whole community consultation. And that's why I support this recommendation today.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Would you like to sum up, Councillor?
I've just got through the Mayor, just a question to the CEO, Rob. If this is supported today and was organised next week, right, and then we afforded 2 weeks thereafter, would it be helpful if we included a closing date in the resolution of the 4th of July?
To bring back to that meeting, yeah.
And then and it'll be back for the 10th then of July. But is it realistic that staff could have that
We'll jump
organised?
straight after this meeting here. We can talk through. I'll get the LDO to liaise with corporate comms there. Matt's team should be able to put some stuff together pretty quickly. We'll look at circulating that in the next couple of days, getting it out next week. Because I said if we aim for that date, that'll give us something to aim for. So I think that's reasonable, Councillor.
Yeah, and it's localised mail out too, so that should be easy to do.
Do you want to put
Pam,
a date in?
you've got a worried look on you.
Oh, just probably through the Chair and CEO, I'm wondering whether it's more, rather than tying it to the 4th of July, for example, is it just the July council, the first July council meeting? Like, just in, like, once it's the 4th of July, it's hard coded as a date. There is external parties we've got to rely on to hit that date. I'm just wondering, is it with the report to be tabled to the first, like, if it closed on the 4th, it's getting to the first council meeting anyway?
Well, it's just we need a date to put on that letter.
Yep.
That the community know that is the drop dead, close of business in the mail on Friday the 4th.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like we it can't be open.
Yeah, but we don't have to put that in the
have a date
resolution.
that says
I think the letter could be drafted in a way that you still put that date on without a formal direction from council.
Oh, I see.
We would backdate, like, it would just be reversed to make sure we hit the first meeting in July, because that's the first time you'll be able to consider it anyway.
Yeah, you can say
If-
put it out for 2 weeks and we'll wait for that meeting.
Where did I undertake him? Just 3, consider these results of finalised naming of this community facility at the first ordinary meeting of council in July.
Is the seconder happy with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Madam Mayor, sorry.
Right.
Maybe I heard wrong, but what I thought I heard Deputy Director Cam say is that, do we really need to have it in the resolution? Because if you put in the first ordinary meeting in July, you might as well put the 10th. Like, it is the first ordinary meeting in July. Like, is it just a meeting in July, or do we even have to have it in there? The staff plainly know, and they can then, depending on how they, they're going to go and they're going to talk to the post office and they're going to work it out, their dates, and then they can put the date in on the letter, but let them put that date on the letter. Like, do we have to actually have it in the resolution?
I'm happy to keep it that it's the this decision is at that first council meeting in July.
And the director did say that they would put it on the letter.
Yeah, I know, but if you get to that post office and they say that they want more notice and therefore you can't deliver that, there'll be a repeal of a motion.
It is Wallumbilla.
And it's addressed mail out, not unaddressed mail.
Take your point, councillor O'Neill. Yeah.
Yeah.
You all good? Yep.
Yes, thanks.
All right. Did you want to sum up, councillor?
No.
Okay, let's go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
Yes.
8-0. If we could ask councillor Seawright to come back in, please. Councillor Seawright is back in the room. 14.1, application through Regional Arts Development Fund RADF Program 2024-2025. Councillor Brumpton.
I move that council endorse the RADF Committee's grant assessment recommendation in supporting the QCWA Roma branch for $728.
Have a seconder. Councillor Vincent, would you like to speak, councillor?
Just briefly, it's pleasing to see another application coming through for the RADF fund. We do have some funds available left in the 24-25 budget, so this will probably obviously be the last one through for this financial year. But it's nice to see continuing involvement on the community in using this funding.
Okay, good. Anyone else like to speak?
I'll speak.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking for Jo to put her hand up here, sorry.
Yeah, I'll
Councillor.
speak to this one. It's great to see the QCWA coming into to a different sort of art space, and the paint-alongs are a really good way for community members to join in with painting for the beginner painter, I guess. I've done one myself, and I'll never do it again, but it's good for beginners that are keen.
Very good. Anyone else like to speak? All right. Would you like to sum up, councillor?
No need, I don't
Let's
think.
go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
Yes.
9-0. Righto. If someone could, councillor Flynn, you have a conflict in
I
vote?
do on item C5. The item is the Roma Country Music Festival post-event report. The declaring councillor is Councillor Peter Flynn. The person with interest is myself. Particulars of the interest: I'm an executive member of the Eastern the Country Committee who run a festival with similar events, and as such I could be seen to have my decision-making influenced by that interest. It's a prescribed conflict of interest, and I'll leave the room while the matter is discussed and voted.
Thank you. Would someone like to move us into closed? Councillor Vincent.
I move in accordance with the provisions of section 254J3 of the Local Government Regulation 2012 that council resolve to close the meeting to the public to discuss is that supposed to be the time, Kel? Sorry. At 9:45 to discuss confidential items that its councillors consider is necessary to close the meeting. In accordance with section 254J5 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, the following table provides the matters to be discussed. An overview of what is to be discussed while the meeting is closed. C.1, request for fee waiver, planning application 20586/2022, change application material, change of use, undefined use, blacksmith workshop. C.2, tender 25040, lease lot 2 on SP 212826, Bassett Lane, East Roma. C.3, assignment of leases, Major Mitchell Caravan Park. C.4, Terrara Gravel Pit. C.5, Roma Country Music Festival post-event report. That's it.
That's it. Okay. Have a seconder. Councillor Brumpton. All those in favour?
Yes.
Yes.
9-0. We're now in close. Councillor Vincent, all those in favour?
Yes.
Yes.
9-0. If I could declare a conflict of interest on C3, please, Kel. So sorry. C3 is assignment of leases, Major Mitchell Caravan Park. The declaring councillor is myself, Wendy Taylor. The person of interest is myself. The particulars of the interest is the Roma Clay Target Club. I'm the treasurer at the Roma Clay Target Club, and we have a caravan park. It is a prescribed conflict of interest, and I'll leave.
Be a declarable conflict of interest.
It'd be declarable.
Well, the matter's not about you.
Oh, okay. So it's a declarable conflict of interest, and I'll leave the room while the matter is discussed and voted on. Thank you, everybody, for that.
We go into closed.
Have a seconder. Councillor Flynn, all those in favour?
Yes.
Yes.
9-0. Councillor Seawright, all those in favour?
Yes.
Yes.
9-0. Okay, C1, request for fee waiver planning application 20586/2022. Change application, material change of use, undefined use, blacksmith workshop. Do I have a mover? Councillor Brumpton.
I move that Council 1 refused the grant a waiver, refused to grant, sorry, just change that wording, Kel, a waiver of the application fee of $5,310 for the submitted change application for an existing development permit located at 42 Tiffin Street, Roma, reference 2022/20586, and instead to apply the fee category for shop service industry, $2,655, impact accessible and require external building work to the other change application.
Seconded by Councillor Davis. Would you like to speak, Councillor?
Yes, we received some advice from officers around this and the right category for this applicant to go into, and rather than a full waiver, we've, with the officers' advice, have chosen a category that more aligns with their industry because it is something unusual for the town. So hopefully this will be assisting them in terms of the fees, but also ensure some consistency across the planning approvals process.
Anyone like to speak against? Anyone else like to speak? We'll go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
Yes.
9-0. C2, tender 25040, lease lot 2 on SP 212826 Bassett Lane, East Roma. Do I have a mover? Councillor Davis.
I move that Council 1 accept the tender submitted by PD Green and TA Matthews as the recommended tenderer for tender 25040, lease over lot 2 of SP 212826, Bassett Lane East, Roma. 2, delegate authority to the Chief Executive Officer or delegate to enter into final negotiations with the successful applicant and execute the lease for the term of 2 years. 3, assign the income to GL 1491.1075 lease income.
Have a seconder? Councillor Brumpton. Would you like to speak?
There's just a closed bracket missing in item 2 after or delegate, sorry.
Would you like to speak, Councillor?
No, thank you.
Would anyone like to speak? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
9-0. C3, assignment of leasees Major Mitchell Caravan Park. And I have a conflict.
The mayor's left the chamber. Do I have a mover for C3?
I'm happy to move.
Councillor Burkett?
I'd like to move that Council 1 approve the transfer of registered lease 7233-15126, being the Major Mitchell Caravan Park, to Jedson Proprietary Limited, subject to the terms in the deed of consent to transfer of lease. 2, approve the transfer of registered trustee lease 7233-15123 over Lot 1 on SP 265644 to Jedson Proprietary Limited, subject to the terms of the deed to consent to transfer of lease. 3, authorise the leasee to facilitate pet-friendly accommodation for small animals, cats, dogs and birds. 4, authorise the leaseholder to keep small animals, cats, dogs, birds at the premises. 5, authorise the Chief Executive Officer or delegate to execute the deed of consent to transfer of leases and any associated documentation required to effect the transfer.
I have a comment, sorry.
Thanks, Councillor Burkett.
Sorry,
Robert.
councillors, I know we had a fair bit of discussion about that one. Just on that point 3, authorise the lessee to facilitate pet-friendly accommodation for small business. Should we add on to that, would you feel comfortable adding in there associated with travellers? Because otherwise it could be read that they could actually be running a dog kennel
Oh, yes.
Yeah, true. Happy with that change?
associated with travelling public or something. Sorry, councillors, I was just looking ahead there. Could
No, makes
be read that way.
sense.
As would it associated with
Patrons, associated with patrons.
patrons?
Sorry, councillors, just a bit of clarity, that was all.
Short stay travel.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
You happy with that, Councillor Burkett?
Yeah, I am.
Is there a seconder? There is. Councillor Seawright. Does the mover wish to speak?
Yeah, I think this is a positive move forward for everyone involved. I know Craig and Caroline have been trying to potentially enjoy a future retirement. So this is a step forward for them. I know they've had a couple of false starts, but and they also took the risk of going out to re-tender to get the longer lease time, and they took that risk and were successful. So I'm happy that everything's aligning for them, and I wish them all the best for the future. And also, I'd like to wish the new leasees all the best and welcome to Mitchell. And I think that the few little changes we made are a positive one, and also clarifies any issues moving forward.
Thanks, Councillor Burkett. Speaker against? Further speaker for? They're not. I'll put the resolution. Those in favour?
Yes.
Yes.
That's carried 8-0.
Thanks, guys.
C4, Terraraka gravel pit. Something like that.
Terrara.
Terrarara gravel pit. Do I have a mover? Councillor Davis.
I move that Council 1 authorise the Chief Executive Officer or their delegate to enter into a conduct and compensation agreement over operations at Terrarara Pit for the period of 3 years with an option of an additional 3 years. 2, authorise a sliding compensation model where the amount payable is relevant to the amount of material removed per annum, up to 100,000 tonnes, 20 cents. 101 to 200, 101,000
No, $100,001
to
Tons.
tons. Oh my God! Why did I move this? 100,000 200,001 tonnes to 200,000 tonnes, 30 cents. 200,001 to 300,000 tonnes, 40 cents. 300,001 to 400,000 tonnes, 50 cents.
Good job.
Thank you. 3, retrospectively pay any outstanding fees to the landholder calculated at the rate of 50 cents per metre square, per cubic metre removed from site. 4, that council delegate authority to the Chief Executive Officer to negotiate and authorise on behalf of Maranoa Regional Council quarry site development and management plans as per the Forestry Act 1959, landholder memorandum of agreements for access to and use of an extractive site on the landholder's property, and gravel pit access agreements.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Brompton. Would you like to speak, Councillor?
I think I've said enough, so thank you.
Anyone else like to speak? Righto, we go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
Yes.
9-0. C5, Country Music Festival post-event report.
Read that again or not?
Sorry?
Have I got to read that and open again or not?
No.
Okay, do I have a mover?
I'm happy to move.
Thank you, Councillor.
If Cal I'm just reading off Cal's screen. I move that Council 1 allocate $12,000 from the 2025-26 Regional Community Grants Operations Sponsorship Materials and Service Budget, GL 02887.2249.2001, for event hosting fees and service fees for the 2025 Roma Country Music Festival. 2, provide in-kind support to the 2025 Roma Country Music Festival as per the conditions outlined in the agreement of the 2024, 2025 and 2026 Roma Country Music Festival MOU. 3, endorse the Roma Country Music Festival to be held in November 2025.
Have a seconder? Councillor Vincent. Would you like to speak, Councillor?
Thank you. Yes, Madam Mayor, I'm supporting this resolution because I think we had a go at this last year and it was just the beginning. I think that the weather was pretty harsh with storms around, but it went through. The organisers continued on with the festival. I am happy to give it another go because I think it's just in its infancy, and I would like to think that this festival will grow into something bigger and better for the Maranoa, and I think we can't base that on just one year. We need to give it a two-year trial as per our memorandum of understanding, which is actually we'll consider it again next year based on the post-event report for the 2025. So, yes, it is a $12,000 investment for our sponsorship money plus in-kind support. But if this event does grow legs, it could actually be a legacy for the future for Roma and the Maranoa of events in our area, which we all know how much events bring to our community and create economic development for our community. I am still concerned about the November date. And I know as council we have given that feedback to the committee, but the 2025 event has been locked in for November. So I just wish the festival organisers all the very best, and hopefully it will be a success for our community, and going forward it will be an even better success.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Okay, on that note, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
Yes.
8-0. Flynn is back in the room. So with no further agenda, I will close the meeting at 10:21 and thank you for your attendance.